Backed by popular demand, here are 20 more home maintenance tasks you don't want to forget. At least once or possibly twice a year, it's a good idea to go all the way around the outside of your foundation and throughout your crawl space, because you want to check and make sure your foundation is nice and secure. No matter if it is concrete block like in this situation, or poured concrete, or brick, or even stone. In any case, you want to look and make sure there are no separations in between the joints. Now, if by chance there is a hairline crack in between it, you may want to just keep an eye on it, checking back every week or month, just to make sure it is not getting any larger. Now, if it's any bit bigger than a hairline crack, you should probably get somebody out to check it. Make sure you don't have a foundation issue in your house, because any kind of foundation issue could easily shift all the structure of your house, causing major damage. In any case, get it checked out. Now, while you're in the process of checking the foundation of your house, you also want to keep a lookout for termites. Now, it's really easy to spot them going up the side of your foundation. Usually it looks like a little mud trail, but it's actually not a trail. It is a mud tube that the termites travel through so they can keep nice and moist. Now, if by chance you don't see any mud trails, keep an eye out for termite droppings. Yes, they'll be very, very small and almost look like a little bit of salt and pepper that's been shaken into a pile. Now, if by chance you see any evidence of termites, call a professional immediately. Termites can quickly destroy a home. Next up, we're heading into the attic. Now, the attic may be a spooky place to some people, but it really needs to be checked at least once or twice a year. You need to check for rodent or insect damage or infestations. You need to check for any kind of water damage or any kind of mold that might start to be growing. Also, check for ventilation. If you get up in your attic and it's extremely hot, then you're probably not getting the adequate ventilation that it needs. In any case, get up and check your attic. When fall arrives, especially before winter, make sure you go out and get all of your hoses and turn off all of your external spigots, because you want to make sure that these do not freeze. Just a few years ago, I forgot and I left them outside and I busted a hose and cracked a spigot and had to get it replaced. In any case, make sure you get these inside before winter sets in. If you have an HVAC system, it's very important to go outside at least once a year and clean off your exterior coils. These can collect debris like leaves and other little fragments from trees and plants. You want to make sure to clean this off. A lot of times people will just use a hose and hose it off. That should work for the most part. If you have anything that's thick and gunked up on there, make sure you get it off, but very carefully so you don't mess up any of the coils. Now, on your HVAC system, or just your plain air conditioned system, you should have a drain line that gets out the condensation that it collects. At least once a year, you need to go in and put a cleaner through this system to get any kind of gunk or buildup that might be in here so it doesn't back up in your system. And while we're on the HVAC system, the metal lines that are supposed to stay cool going into your house, these need to be insulated. This insulation has a tendency to deteriorate and animals can chew on it. In fact, I had to build this fence around our unit to keep our dog from chewing on those lines. Now, if you own a home, there's a very good chance you're going to have plants or shrubbery around the foundation of your house. In those cases, you're going to have to trim these back about once a year. Now, I strongly suggest doing that in the wintertime or maybe at the end of winter when these plants are usually dormant. That way you can trim them back and it's less likely to hurt them. Now, if your bathroom sink drain is ever slow at letting water out, let me show you a quick way to fix it. And to do that, I'd suggest getting one of these little cleaners. This right here is just a piece of plastic that has a little teeth about 1 inch apart on each side. You carefully lower this down past the drain plug and then carefully pull this back out. And you'll pull out hair and gook and probably a bunch of stuff that you didn't even realize was down there. Now, most of us use vacuums to clean our house, especially if we have pets. You get the hair everywhere, we just gotta get it up. But how often do you clean the vacuum? Now, depending on what type of vacuum you have, a lot of the newer brands will have these HEPA filters in them. And if by chance they are washable, I do suggest washing them frequently. And if not, then replace them every 6 months to a year. And of course, check the roller on the bottom because there's a good chance it's going to collect hair and you need to remove that so it'll be more efficient. Most homes have fans, but did you know you're supposed to change the up and down direction of flow depending on what time of year it is? In the summertime, you want the air to be flowing down. In the wintertime, you want the air to be blowing up. Now, there's usually a switch somewhere on the fan that you can swap that back and forth. And that just helps with the efficiency of hot and cold in your house. Now, it's good practice to check the seals around your doors and your windows to make sure it's keeping that hot air and cold air outside of your house. Here are a few ways to do that. On a bright sunny day, make sure you turn the lights off for your room and check the seal between your door frame and your door, just to make sure there's no light coming through. Then check the seal or goes around your door. In my case here, it is rubber, so I'm just pushing on it, making sure it's still nice and spongy. Then I'm gonna close the door and make sure it has full contact. Then in the wintertime, I like to put my back of my hand along to where the door and the frame come together and move it up and down real slowly. And if by chance there is a crack, you'll feel that cold air hit you in the hand. Now, if you have any other suggestions about how to check the seals around your doors or windows, please put those in the comments so we can help everybody out. Now, this next tip was suggested by a few viewers in our last home maintenance video. They said to go to all the knobs in your plumbing and just at least once a year, go to them, close them fully, and then open them back. And this will allow it to not only function, but you want to make sure it is not stuck. So when you actually have a time that you might need, whether you're changing a filter or maybe you have a plumbing situation and you need to turn off the water, you'll know they'll actually work. Now, part of home ownership is knowing exactly where a circuit breaker is, because over the years there will be times you'll need to know exactly where these are so you can switch them on and switch them off. And after finding where your circuit breaker is, I strongly suggest labeling all of your circuits, or at least having a piece of paper on the side showing what they're for. Now, just before springtime arrives, you need to make sure that you sharpen the blades on your lawnmower so it not only cuts efficiently, it doesn't hurt your grass. Now, I do this on a grinding wheel, but you could also use a file if you don't have one of those, but just keep in mind a file will take a long time. Now, if you don't have any tools, some of the home maintenance stores will be happy to sharpen them for you. Now, if you happen to have pets, I'd strongly suggest getting a UV blacklight. This is great just in case your loved ones happen to have an accident on the carpet. You can spot it and easily clean it up. Let me show you how it works. First, you want to turn off all the lights you can in your house. Then you want to turn on your UV light and work it back and forth across your carpet. And if there is anything, it'll be pretty easy to spot. And here's the same spot with the lights on. You can't even tell it's there. Just a heads up though, if you do buy one of these, there's a very good chance you're going to want to clean your entire house. Springtime, it's a great time to get outside, enjoy the weather, and watch the animals. But if you happen to see a lot of swarms of yellow jackets or hornets going anywhere near your house, you need to watch exactly where they're going, because if they're going into the rafters or into the siding of your house, there's a very good chance there might be some nests buried deep inside your house. In those cases, you need to get a pest control out to take care of that. Now, if you want to see some crazy, huge, just disgusting nests, look up on YouTube, The Hornet King, and you'll probably be amazed. Also, keep a lookout for carpenter bees because they can easily destroy a wood project. With a lot of us working from home now, it's a good idea for us to take a little more care looking at our computers. First off, we need to blow off our keyboards for a couple reasons. One, we need to get any of that food fragments we might have been eating while we're working to get that out of there so the keys will all function appropriately. And we need to get that out so it doesn't create bacteria and make us sick. Probably a good idea too to take a wipe every so often and just wipe everything down for the same reasons. Do you ever find yourself being able to relax on a couch? Maybe you're eating some chips or some popcorn, where there's a very good chance that some of those fragments are falling down into the cracks of your couch. So it's a good idea, at least once, if not twice a year, to pull the cushions up, vacuum all that stuff up so it doesn't make you sick. Here's a little bonus tip. You could always add some dryer sheets or maybe even some baking soda underneath of those cushions to help any kind of smells. If you have a basement like ours, there's a good chance you're gonna have a bunch of storage just everywhere. Anytime you go down there, it's a good idea to check for any kind of moisture buildup. For example, you could have a leak from a pipe, you could have some foundation issues where water's getting through, or you could just have bad water runoff. In any case, you need to make sure you take care of those problems immediately. Just recently, I realized I had a leak, and I was able to discover that it was actually from one of our bathrooms. So I was able to take care of it quickly before it caused any major damage. So make sure you go down there and check it regularly. And if you have a lot of humidity down there, you can always get a dehumidifier to help. Now, there are 20 more ways to make your home ownership even better. Now, if by chance you didn't see the first video, I'll put a link to it right over here and in the description, so make sure you check it out.